And it looked like she was gonna faint. She started clutching the wall, trying to hang on to it.
Man.
I didn't know whether to try and keep her from falling or zip up.
What did you do?
I zipped up.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 times George had the worst luck on Seinfeld.
I guess that's because I wear boxer shorts.
Boxer shorts, huh? What brand?
Oh, I'm not really sure.
Yeah, well, let's take a look.
Gave me a wedgie.
For this list, we're looking at instances from the show where Mr. Costanza was the victim of unfortunate circumstances. Because we'll be revealing some major plot points, we are issuing a spoiler alert. When did you realize George was truly cursed? Let us know in the comments below.
Is it meningitis? Scoliosis? Lupus? Is it lupus?
Have you ever had your tonsils taken out?
My tonsils? Yeah, when I was a kid.
Number 10, the tipping fiasco.
Okay, let's do. Hey, what's in this thing?
Cheese, pepperoni, eggplant.
Eggplant, huh? That's a hell of a thing. All right, back to business. Here you go. Very good, excellent little calzone you got there, Costanza.
It wouldn't be Seinfeld without George fixating on extremely trivial matters and what other people think of him. During his tenure with the New York Yankees, he gets Steinbrenner hooked on calzones and finds himself with newfound influence at work. But whenever George leaves a tip at the store he gets calzones from, the cashier is always distracted.
And just as I'm about to drop it in, he looks the other way. So then, as I'm leaving, he gives me a look like, thanks for nothing.
You got no credit.
Exactly.
He eventually decides to take his tip out of the jar and put it back in front of the employee. Unfortunately, it looks like George is stealing and he's banned. His attempts to send Newman and Kramer to get calzones also go awry. Although these calzones could have been a big break for George at work, a tip made it all go south. Number 9, the Frogger is destroyed.
Oh, I was unstoppable. Perfect combination of Mountain Dew and mozzarella. Just the right amount of grease on the joystick.
When George and Jerry's high school haunt is about to close, they pay one final visit to Mario's Pizza. They quickly find a familiar arcade game there. Since George's high score is still unbeaten, he resolves to transport the cabinet out of the restaurant while keeping it powered up.
Everything's timed out to perfection, Jerry. Slippery Pete's got the Frogger running on battery power. The truck will be there any minute, and Kramer's taped out a loading zone.
Sounds great.
After Kramer's contacts attach a battery, they use up nearly all the juice. George decides to make a last-ditch effort to save the Frogger and his own sense of self-worth by crossing a busy street. Just when he's about to make it safely, his dreams are dashed at the last moment when the console is smashed to smithereens. Although George often brings about his own unhappiness, it truly wasn't his fault this time around. Number 8, trying to get out of a relationship.
This is all blowing up in my face! My serious girlfriend and my torrid love affair have accidentally crossed paths. I have grown 3 lives!
Usually, George is trying his hardest to get women to like him, but a season 9 episode provides an interesting spin on that formula. George's girlfriend Maura refuses to accept that he wants to split. In an effort to change her mind, he starts seeing a colleague and deliberately double books himself at the coffee shop with both women.
I'm caught in my own web of lies!
I'm Maura. I'm Loretta. You gonna join us?
But this plan backfires. In a twist that George would ordinarily love, his girlfriends decide they can both date him.
So this is still not over?
No.
You?
No.
All right.
If Seinfeld has taught us anything, it's that George never gets what he wants exactly when he wants it.
We are officially broken up. Thank you. And good night.
No, George, we're not.
But I proved.
Number 7, Susan's death.
They're arranged in order of price. The most expensive are in the front.
One of George's worst bouts of bad luck spelled a surprising and tragic end for his fiancée Susan Ross. When invitations need to be sent out for their wedding, George is adamant about buying the cheapest brand available. Unbeknownst to him, the adhesive on these budget invitations is poisonous. This turn led to Susan getting sent straight to the hospital after licking too many of them.
Well, I'm sorry. She's gone.
What's that?
Her subsequent death was one of the show's most controversial plot twists because of George's absolutely callous reaction. He even seemed relieved at Susan's demise.
Hey, what can I tell you?
All right.
Come on, let's get some coffee.
Maybe George was also happy because the incident could have been fatal for him too, if he had been a tad more helpful.
How did it happen?
Apparently the glue in the wedding invitations was toxic.
Number 6, the compromising photos.
I hope you got that mustard stain out of your shirt.
Oh.
George's attempts to woo the women in his life are frequent and often ill-fated. In The Package, he attempts to flirt with a clerk at his local photo counter by taking racy pictures.
You think it would be better if I did?
It might be. I mean, whatever you want.
Come on! That's it. Come on, George. That's it. Come on, give it to me. Come on, work it! Work it! Oh!
Unfortunately, they're intercepted by another employee who misreads the signs and slips some scandalous pictures of his own into the mix. When Newman discovers this, he accuses George of being part of a mature mail-order scheme.
Oh my God!
We have a few questions we'd like you to answer.
I have a few questions of my own.
Hi, your mailman.
But George's embarrassment doesn't end there. When George's love interest sees the photos enlarged by Newman, she runs for the hills. Although bad luck got in the way, we had no idea why he thought this ill-fated photo plan would work at all.
Oh my God. George.
It's not what you think. I put my trust in the wrong person.
Number 5, medical issues.
Is it meningitis? Scoliosis? Lupus? Is it lupus?
Have you ever had your tonsils taken out?
My tonsils? Yeah, when I was a kid.
After having a supposed heart attack, George discovers that he actually is dealing with tonsils that have somehow regrown. While this seems like a relatively manageable issue, things only go downhill from there. George is encouraged to go to an alternative medical practitioner whose methods cause even more trouble.
That's not too bad.
It was bad enough that this shady professional's actions send George back to the hospital, but to make matters worse, he gets into a car crash because the ambulance technician and the driver have a brawl on the way. In between our laughs at this absurd situation, we were left wondering if George really deserved all of this.
So how much is this thing gonna cost you now? Like $5,000-6,000? Well, live and learn. At least we lived.
Number 4, getting robbed by a subway stranger.
Oh, no. I was just looking for the stock page. Here it is. Looking for the quotes. Gotta check the quotes. Love a good quote.
Here's a classic episode where all the main characters endure distinct trials and tribulations during separate trips on the subway. Although none of their journeys are totally painless, George's misadventure is particularly humiliating. After being seduced by an alluring stranger, he follows her out of the train. She then proceeds to handcuff him to her hotel bed frame. Since George is low on cash, she takes his clothes instead.
Wait a second, what are you doing?
I'm taking your clothes.
No, that's my only suit. It cost me $350. I got it at Mo Ginsburg.
The hapless man is forced to schlep all the way to Monk's sporting only a bedsheet. While getting swindled is terrible, being left in the buff on top of that is just unfortunate.
You'll have my spare key in your apartment, right?
Yeah, it's in the kitchen drawer.
Give me your key. I gotta get it. All right, what happened? Never mind what happened. Just give me the key.
Number 3, getting caught in the buff.
Do women know about shrinkage?
What do you mean, like laundry?
No.
Like when a man goes swimming afterwards.
It shrinks?
Sometimes George has worse luck with his friends' girlfriends than his own. He really strikes out when he and the gang travel to the Hamptons. After taking a dip in some cold water, Jerry's girlfriend Rachel then barges in on George undressing. If this wasn't embarrassing enough, she then starts laughing.
I'm sorry, I thought this was the baby's room. I'm really sorry.
He quickly tries to insist that the recent time in the water made some things appear smaller than they are. Unfortunately, the damage was already done. This memorable Seinfeld episode brought the word shrinkage into the show's lexicon and pop cultures. It's just too bad that George had to be the butt of this small joke.
I think that you think that a certain something is not all that it could be, when in fact, it is all that it should be and more.
Sure it is.
Look, you don't understand. There was shrinkage.
Number 2, a hand modeling career goes up in flames.
You're done.
That's it?
That's it.
And here's your check. Thank you very much. It was an honor.
It's not every day that George gets an opportunity to feel special, so when a model rep takes note of his exquisite hands, he jumps at a shot for a lucrative new career. Throughout the episode, he's hilariously protective of his mitts. George even wears protective gear and gets into manicures.
Don't hand them to me with the point facing out.
I'm sorry.
You're sorry?
I'll try to be more careful.
I hope so.
Unfortunately, his professional ambitions are dashed before the episode ends. George decides to make fun of Jerry's puffy shirt as soon as he sees it. Sadly, the designer is nearby and gets so heated that she pushes him towards an iron. In an instant, George's hands and modeling dreams are completely ruined.
Hot.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are some honorable mentions. A game of telephone. George's attempts to contact his date are thwarted by all those around him.
Excuse me, I was waiting here.
Where? I didn't see you.
I've been standing here for the last 10 minutes.
I won't be long.
That's not the point. The point is, I was here first.
Well, if you were here first, you'd be holding the phone.
Getting grapefruit juice in his eye. His involuntary wink sets off a disastrous chain of events at work.
He's been coming in later and later. Is there something wrong?
No, not that I know of.
Really? Well, make sure he signs this. Oh, look, George, if there's a problem with Morgan, you can tell me.
Morgan? No, he's doing a great job.
I understand.
The Human Fund plot. George's attempt to save money on co-workers' gifts leads to a painful Festivus dinner.
Until you pin me, George, Festivus is not over.
Oh, please, somebody stop this.
Let's rumble!
I think you can take him, Georgie.
Hey, come on, be sensible.
Stop crying and fight your father.
The IQ test. A plan for Elaine to take an IQ test on George's behalf fails miserably.
Hey, Georgie!
Coming up.
How'd you do on the IQ test?
85!
What?
85, Jerry! 85 IQ!
Falling down the stairs. While enjoying his severance, George has an accident requiring intensive physiotherapy.
Mr. Costanza. Your legs have sustained extensive trauma. Apparently, your body was in a state of advanced atrophy due to a period of extreme inactivity.
Number 1. George gets caught.
My mother caught me.
Caught? You doing what?
You know. I was alone.
While all Seinfeld fans remember the racy contest episode fondly, some may forget what kicked off the mature competition in the first place. In the first scene, a despondent George explains that his mother walked in on him while he was enjoying a Glamour magazine a bit too much.
Glamour?
So one thing led to another.
So what did she do?
First she screams, "George, what are you doing, my God?"
The shock of seeing her son in such a compromising position sent her straight to the hospital. He's then forced to endure humiliating words from his mom while carrying the embarrassment of the incident.
Too bad you can't do that for a living. You'd be very successful at it. You could sell out Madison Square Garden.
When it comes to being a victim of circumstance, George is in a league of his own.
Her back went out. She's got to be there for a couple of days. All she said on the way over in the car was, "Why, George, why?" I said, "Because it's there."
Watch all 180 episodes of Seinfeld anytime on Netflix.